Good evening. How is everybody?
Morning, Benny.
What's up, Benny?
Give us a two. There you go. Start with the two on Humphrey. All right. Where do we start? So much to get through. How's everyone battling with the market? Just don't look at the market. Life is better that way. It is, isn't it? Actually, again, the weird part about it is this is the week that I've sort of been asked the most about 2016 and 2018, and those types of pullbacks. People are saying, how does this compare? What's it like compared to the others and all the rest of it? So we as stated, nobody knows where the bottom is, but that's the question that gets asked the most is how far away are we from the bottom? You don't know until the bottom's been confirmed, of course, but generally speaking, as they say, the bulls go up the stairs, bears go out the windows, and you generally get another leg of capitulation for a final shakeout before you get some sort of corrective action, but it's impossible for anybody to know for sure. You go broke picking bottoms. I'm happy the market is moving sideways more or less rather than keeping it down a downtrend. Yeah, it's interesting, Hanford, because just following on from that previous comment, we don't know whether we'll have another severe leg down. I've seen a few new people to crypto saying in the last few days, how can there be another leg down? There's nothing left to go down. But that's the wonderful world of crypto, isn't it? Hi, great AMA with Lenny. How you doing, George74? I'm no pro in this, but the way I see it, content creators will benefit a lot by switching from normal video streaming app into blockchain-based streaming apps such as RFOX TV. How do you think apps like YouTube will respond, follow into blockchain upgrade, buy some existing blockchain-based app, etc.? Thank you. Actually, I was talking to Red Pill earlier, and we were talking about how easy it should get for people to be able to sell. We're talking about like a profile picture verification on Twitter. We've talked about tipping and payment services through those social media apps. It'll be, I envisage that you'll be able to list your profile picture for sale through the social media apps and stuff. But as far as like YouTube and stuff is concerned, I think we'll see definitely a move towards more amalgamated services, and I hope that a lot of these blockchain offerings will shake up the legacy industries. So there's no point, and basically this is all for nothing if it doesn't, right? So I think that YouTube and most of these big organizations and corporations have already got pretty expensive blockchain research teams or teams of people working on keeping across or experimenting with blockchain technology. So it's definitely something that everyone's keeping an eye on, and I'm sure that like everybody else, they're probably watching with intent and looking at what the market's doing. I think that we were also talking earlier about Snapchat coming out with their earnings, and you've got a lot of these really big players that have come out with, I guess, very, very glum earnings reports. So therefore, it's definitely forecast. I mean, definitely made people sort of look at what's valuable and what's the right thing to do going forward. Question: if you follow the Bitcoin maxis on Twitter, you'll be continually reminded that they think everything other than Bitcoin will go to zero, regardless of if it's possible or not. Does Red Fox Labs have a theoretical game plan to migrate over to Bitcoin network if these scenarios play out? Would require additional capabilities added to Bitcoin on either the base or additional layers. So it's an interesting question, Subby. So again, not pretending that we have the answers to everything. I can only give you an opinion, but ultimately speaking, Bitcoin is the classic pin-up definition of a currency and network that don't go hand in hand. The actual network adoption has been much slower than the token price The reflection of the token price has gone up wildly, whereas usage hasn't necessarily. So I think it's definitely a speculative thing. But as far as the is going to, people have been saying that for a long time. I think we've got a bit of feedback there, Pete. Do we know who that is? Oh, thanks, mate. So we've heard this many times, but the funny thing is, Subby, when the market gets really, really tough, you might say, well, what's now then? You'll also see that they pronounce Bitcoin dead as well. And there's a site, as we've talked about a few times before, that tracks how many times Bitcoin's been declared dead. I think it's over 1,000 now, Pete, right?
I don't even want to count.
Someone here will know for sure, but I think it's over 1,000 times. The thing is that every time we go through a down market, it's the onus is on the project. And we've seen that there's something that sparks every downturn and there's something that sparks every revival. And we had a really big wave with ICOs. We had a really big wave with DeFi. We had a really big wave with games, play to earn, had a really big wave with NFTs. So there's some sort of catalyst for every type of correction. But ultimately, each time, those ones that have been through the massive wave have to work double hard to provide actual value, utility, and to make sure that they stay relevant, right? And then you'll see projects like Goblin Town, which has come out as an NFT project and done a free giveaway. And the free giveaway project has traded very well. And if you've been following, we've been saying for a while that a lot of projects will probably head more towards that down the track, especially if they're new. And then have to establish actual utility and underlying value to be able to get people to be interested due to the fact that there are so many, flimsy offerings out there. But as far as other tokens going to zero, I would say that that's a lot of them will. As far as a game plan is concerned for going across, we already theoretically can, through the rootstock bridge that was implemented some period of time ago, we can already bridge across to the Bitcoin network, but obviously that's that the adoption for Ethereum and others is far, far greater. And they are quite decoupled, the network and the token in Bitcoin's case. RFOX TV looks great. Will actual phones be available?
We're looking at it. The first thing was to optimize the site for mobile anyway, which we've done. So you'll see that if you open it on a mobile browser, it's pretty optimized. But yeah, it's definitely something we're looking at going forward.
I was more umming and ahhing about the first part of the sentence. I mean, we haven't actually released it yet, obviously officially, but I know that people have had a look and a sticky beak and a play, but we haven't gone out to do any public release. There's still a bit of integration stuff happening on the in the background. There's always
the MVP to the community tonight, though.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why people in here know about it. But yeah, we haven't gone out to the wider public.
Yeah. Is RFOX TV similar to what xcad's platform? I think that RFOX TV alone is another proposition or streaming platform. If you combine what RFOX TV has with the rest of the offerings in the RFOX ecosystem, I think it gives it a definitely a unique flavour. I think the difference between RFOX TV and some of the others is that once we click on the creator economy and give the creators tools, they will also combine those in ways that that might not be completely obvious to everybody. I mean, there's some pretty clever cookies out there that'll work out how to integrate new ways to do social gifting or IP and content transfers and content creation. So it'll be very interesting to see that. Surely it's more than 1,000. Oh, there you go. Bitcoin is dead. What was the number? It just died. 449 times. There you go.
That's what I found. Yeah, I looked it up on the site and it said 449. Yeah, it's a lot.
That's like people declaring that crypto's over, Bitcoin's dead. when you first get into the space and you see that written and you see the publications talking about it, you sort of think to yourself, Jesus, that's not good. And it does definitely freak you out a little bit. But the fact is that every single time we go through a wave, you've got to take one thing into consideration, and that is it verifies it makes you assess your conviction, and it makes you think, what do I believe in? And more importantly, what am I invested in? Am I invested in something that's actually building something that's going to provide long-term value and utility, or am I invested in something that is just a ridiculous meme, and I got caught up in the whole romance of it all? Excited to know more about what crafting is all about, Benny, any ETA, when this will be released. Any chance you can give us a bit of insight on what it will entail? Pete, would you like to talk a little bit about that, or would you like me to do it?
Which one is it again? Sorry, I got distracted.
Crafting. The person has written, excited to know more about what crafting is all about, any ETA, when this will be released, but any chance you can give us a bit of insight to what it will entail?
Which crafting in particular?
Yeah,
I just want to be sure exactly which crafting.
All right, I'll answer.
Why don't you answer? Why don't you answer? I'm not going to answer that.
I'll answer in general, and then you can give specifics if you feel it's necessary or they want more information. But ultimately, basically, what it will mean, we know that you're all familiar with MintLab. So effectively, it will enable you to be able to, for example, and this is just an example, take a number of KOGs, for example, so 4 or 5 KOGs, create a recipe or combine those together, and then redeem, swap, trade for something on the other side. So it could be that you use 4 things to get a new NFT, or it could be a weapon or an upgrade. So I think we know what crafting means, or the majority of us do. If you don't, that's what it does mean. It's like an ability to be able to craft something new from using NFTs that you have. As we know, the Mint Lab doesn't necessarily have to be just for Ethereum-based NFTs going into creating new KOGs. It could be, technically, it could be reverse. It could be anything from Ethereum into another chain. So this opens up all possibilities. Sort of got in contact with us with ideas or asked more information, but effectively, crafting becomes very important once the vault sort of goes into full swing, because we need to be able to have mechanisms for things like KOGs and to be able to make that transition across and integration across. So very exciting. As far as when, Pete, do you want to talk about how long roughly it would take for that to be enabled?
Proof of concept tomorrow, but
There you go.
public, I got no idea. That's all I can say for now.
It's a very broad question as well, because, you know, I'll even talk to Pete and say, hey, Pete, we should do this, or we should make it so that you can do that. And then Pete would say, all right, you know that we've got the Ethereum and 2 KOGs, but anything outside of that, it's obviously work for those guys. They've got to develop stuff, but we have to also set the parameters and the ground rules. So the basic structure for Mint Lab is built, but if we turn around and say, you need to combine 3 KOGs and 1 Bored Ape, for example, to get a new avatar, something like that. That's a definition or a example of crafting, but that would all require multiple contracts. It requires actions to be carried out based on is that you're actually doing. Is it a retention? Is it a verification of ownership to be granted? So there's lots of different variations, and that will evolve over time based on what we're doing. Obviously, we build it so that we can accomplish what we're trying to accomplish internally, and then those tools we can sort of make available for others later. But ultimately,
yeah. All I can say, the cross-chain crafting is the more challenging one. Single-chain crafting, everyone's done that, right? That's boring stuff.
Yeah.
Congrats on MVP and RFOX TV. Love the crypto category. People should love that live too. Kind of like Twitch that one. Yeah, I think what's going to be cool, Bars, is when people are actually doing the combination of the Vault avatars and streaming, and Vault avatars streaming, selling, and combining some of these things in some pretty unique ways. So I think we've spoiled a little bit about what's possible, and we'll talk more and more about that. But again, the road to giving creators tools to be able to sort of come in and help build and deploy is extremely important going forward. And as stated since day one, RFOX's platform is supposed to be a showcase of all of the things that we have and can do. And then I think we've all heard it so many times, it's part of our vernacular now, is that, you know, we've always said the biggest game on RFOX won't be built by us, and the biggest products that get built on our platform will be people coming in, using the tools and launching through us. So that's exciting that that's in reach. So here you go. Are you doing the system yourself or using Nefty blends for crafting? So yeah, ourselves. He's already answered that. Okay, I've got a couple of things. Yeah, crafting from the Vault will be cool, Ramses. And we've also talked about the possibilities of and the importance of making sure that we can use that as an entry point into, because the whole idea, of course, is all roads leading to the Vault. And if we've got the ability to use that as an entry point, that'll be fantastic to be able to craft things that you have through different sections of the business, and then use that for access to the Vault. Also, guys, just wanted to talk about the one question that we got asked a lot during the week, and I've been asked to bring it up in the AMA in relation to crypto winters and projects and what they do. We're no different to any other project. We go through and we look at, you know, taking every opportunity to assess exactly what it is that we're doing, directions and all the rest of it. Some of you may remember we were talking about, we got asked about whether we have different phases of our startup and how do you do that. We've talked about that in a few sessions that we've had, but ultimately we try to put ourselves in a position to be able to survive any type of market conditions, and we try and make sure that we assess what phase of the business that we're going through. So we've had an independent consultant come in who's very close to the project and had come in and looked at helping us to become this billion-dollar business, and we've made no bones about the fact that that's what we want to do. We want to really put ourselves on the map. So part of that is every phase of every startup is different, and you need to go through your different gears to sort of get to where you need to go to. So this has been a good opportunity for us to sort of now turn around and say, right, let's do what is months and months and months of research on what position, roles, how we build for the future going forwards, and to make sure that we put ourselves in the best position to be successful going forwards. And I know that's a question that's asked of all projects at the moment. So we've started our reorg, and what that means is that, again, we put ourselves in the best position we possibly can to make sure that we're structured in the right way. We've got the right people. Now, that reorg has really looked at a couple of things. One, the skill sets that we currently have versus the skill sets that we need. And it means that there's a number of positions that need to be filled that currently are not occupied. And it also means that there's positions that we have that probably aren't needed for going forwards as well. So this is the phase of that all projects go through. And now is an opportune time and as good a time as any for us to focus on that. So that's already begun. Now what's happening is we really focus on the next phase. So the question I was asked are, what are the different phases? So just think of it from the DBOT type of model that we talked about in the beginning. It's you go through the design phase and you go through the build phase. And as you know, we've been building for a long, long time. So this becomes an exciting type of period, but a very different period for us, because we now start to have products drop, and now our focus shifts to getting the products out, getting revenue in, and getting users in to make us a robust company that can survive through any types of market conditions. And we start heading towards that longer term goal of making sure that we're very well structured for rapid scaling and growth. So yes, so we're concentrating very hard on making sure that we're assessing that the markets that we're addressing are addressed the right way, that we've got the right types of models and offerings, and making sure that we are resyncing between all the departments on what the infrastructure looks like, how we connect these pieces together, how we make sure that we're lean focused, we're making sure that we've got all of the right types of pieces to the puzzle to make us very successful. And let's be honest, an opportunity like this for what we're building in this space in Web 3.0 does not come along every day of the week. And we need to make sure that we've got an offering that is as good, if not better, than anything out there in the market. And what we have to do is really regain our focus and on being a part of every conversation that mentions Metaverse, and every conversation that talks about blockchain gaming and finance and NFTs. And now that we've got these products, it's really important that we're making sure that people know what we've got. And we need a few examples of projects that launch using our tools so that we can turn around and say that here's a success story. This gives us something very powerful and strong to market. Very strong. Venture capital. That's a good question. In relation to venture capital, like we've said, always since the beginning, it's something that appeals to us if and only if it adds value to the ecosystem and it can open doors for us, or it gets us partners, or it does something to help us with the ecosystem. And I think that the interest in us over the recent period has been as strong, or if not stronger, than it has ever been. And I think that comes to a couple of points. One, we're earlier stage than a lot of the very big companies that might be a bit bloated, but we're also dropping products now. So this means that, there's not like a 3-year window for these people to look at and say, right, they're going to build something and it's going to take years before we see anything. What's really important in a down market is that you can show that you've actually got something, and it's something of value and something that hits in the industry sectors that are hot. So I think that the most common comment we get when we talk to anybody, whether it's a partner, a potential investor, whatever it might be, is, I didn't know you had that. I wasn't aware that you had that. Are you really building that? Are you working on that? So we've got two real phases. You've got to go through that phase of education and making sure that people understand what it is that you've got, what it does, and why it should be used in place of things that are currently being used, or why it's a solution to a problem. And that's something that we probably haven't done too well. The second part then is, obviously, once you've established that and you've educated the audience as to what you've got, is getting some people to come in, build, use, and utilize what you've created. And then that becomes a showcase for, look at what people are able to do with the tools and in the ecosystem that we have. And there's no better form of advertising than to turn around and say a success story has been spawned. Is there a plan for final version of the avatar burn recipes? Really hoping, as the one posted didn't say final, hoping first edition tubes and really foiled tubes and royal tubes won't get burned in the final iteration. So yeah, Ramses, we have talked about that and sort of stated that it doesn't really, it's super hard to get those sets right and to create those. So we have said that it isn't final, but we are rejigging to try and make sure that we get a very close to final. I don't think there's going to be any massive changes. It's going to be more about just that type of thing, so the redemption part. But yes, we'll advise you very shortly. The funny thing, Ramses, is that the majority of people have, even at the common or uncommon level, I think it's probably more than 50%, I haven't done a poll recently or anything like that, have said that they won't redeem, that they'll wait and see what game offerings and staking and stuff we've got. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that pans out. And I guess that will very much be determined by what's on offer at the time that the avatars are ready. I think we're actually very, very close to being able to spoil what these avatars might look like. We've got some cool stuff coming up in relation to lore, story behind what they look like. What do you think, Red Pill? I think we can do that fairly soon. Putting him on the spot. I think we can do that. We can give you a taste of what they will look like very soon.
You want to share them so badly, I can tell, Ben. Every week you bring it up.
I know, because I really...
Benny, I think we'll share the one that the stuff that we're doing precursor to the avatar first. I think we can share that one first, and then then after that we can share the avatar.
I really want to do a bit of the lore first. I think it would be cool to give these people a bit like some paragraphs and chunks of the lore, so that people can sort of have some of those questions answered that they've had in the past about what certain things do and why they exist, and then sort of drop what it is, because I can't wait to see what people naturally gravitate towards feeling connected to. That's what I'm looking forward to. What industry are the VCs in that said that they would make an offer you can't refuse? What I'm saying is, and I said was that if we got an offer that we can't refuse, we would that would be something that we'd be very interested in, of course. But we're very much looking toward making sure that whatever comes our way is going to add value to the ecosystem and help us to grow rapidly. And again, we're going through the phase or stage of the company where it is vital that we are getting products out, users in, revenue in, and it's a real normal, traditional, functioning business from the perspective of solid products that people love to use, and of course making sure that that it's a supported platform at all times in all markets. Wheel, so we're going to do Wheel, Pete?
Yeah,
yes.
Wheel.
Okay, so when you want to do that now at the half time, or do you want to wait a little bit to get that organised?
Hang on, Pete.
Yeah,
Don't jump
half-time's
back
fine.
and take the glory. You delegated that to Lala.
Ready when you are.
Oh, all right. I think we can. I think we can do it then.
All right, I'm going to share my screen. Someone may need to stream it because we have more than 51. I think we have about 51 people this time around. Yep, we have 51.
Good luck, guys. We haven't given away a KOGGU for, I don't know if we ever given.
I think we gave away one few weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah.
All righty. How many times shall we shuffle this?
I heard 25 is a good number.
Oh, shut up.
Oh my god, I've heard that two times in like 48 hours now.
Someone ban him.
Let's just
Now, usual rules apply, right? Staff does not. Staff can't win.
Yep.
Only 2 times in the past 48 hours count.
We can win, but you must just re-roll.
Alright, 25 it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 24, 25. We have shuffled. So whoever gets this should OXP something because I rolled it 25 times.
Go,
Alright.
Gecko!
Good luck, everyone. Here we go. What happens if it falls on you, Pete?
Just reroll. I got a bunch.
Yes, China almost won something else. Cheapers.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Congrats, Whitebeard.
Congratulations. All right, I'm good. I'm gonna start my stream.
Thank you. So who was the winner?
Whitebeard, send me your Ethereum address.
All right.
Whitebeard won, Ben.
Who won it?
Whitebeard.
Oh, nice. Congratulations. How do you envisage tournaments will go down in Arkamoto? Will it be traditional CS, LOL, Dota tournaments, or mainly blockchain games? Will the events be shown as videos on the screen? So we do have the option, obviously, to be able to broadcast things now that we do have TV. I think that you'll see some really interesting and rapid progression once these tools come out as well. So I think I've got a much clearer idea of what will happen, but that will become clearer to you once we start releasing these products. But yeah, it will be cool to be able to do streaming of these things, especially the esports side of things. What of you TRF the tubes to redeem avatars and then the assets are auctioned to go back into the community and any funds raised could be used by team or added back into the game's fund? We've talked about, we did talk about this in one of the calls. I don't know how long ago that was, Peter, some time ago, about the possibility of us collecting and redeeming funds. But like I said, we'll communicate all that very shortly. Do you still plan to search and run projects such as Misfill by yourself, or will you prefer to push your tools to users to run such events without you being present? It's a good question. Again, you learn a lot, right? You try and you try new things. You try and test markets. You try and see what you think will be popular. I think a few people have had a crack at that now, without success. I think ultimately we're probably closer to the point where that other projects can come in and launch and list and all the rest of it. And again, the whole idea of us building the tools was so that we didn't have to handhold people. There's still value, obviously, in partnering and collabing, but like going out and looking for buying the rights is becoming less appealing now, I think. With the music quarter, would you guys be looking at musicians, producers to partner with? Yeah, of course. The thing is that what we're looking for is people that can use the tools and use the tools to success. So we would always look to help musicians or artists or performers or anybody to work out how to get their music out there. And again, we want things to be successful. We want to be known as having launched or unearthed new artists or producers or whatever it might be. So yes, that would be very much so. How many people are in the vault, or people now in the vault? How many have we officially let in, Luke?
So we're not going to disclose that, but there's 120.
So we have disclosed. We're not going to disclose it, but it's 120. Okay, so
there's around 120. It's not necessarily.
It's around. It's not exactly 120.
Exactly.
Right.
So I'm not disclosing it exactly. There's around 120 total.
Okay, so there you go. That's a very good non-disclosure number. We also are very mindful of, because we've had the question many times of, why don't you let more people in, get more people utilising? We're only inches away from releasing the new version of the Sandbox MVP, or I have to be careful about the terminology because it confuses people. So the new MVP environment is very close to being released and usable. So we want to make sure that we start letting more people into that environment, because this one is about to be replaced and it's a decisive improvement. For the other editions, I kind of like this, especially if there is going to be a need for the COGs for the first edition, I'd make me less likely to redeem. If I knew the COGs in the tubes I burn would be resold. Yes, of course. Yeah, we did talk about it in originally, Rams, just to sort of test the waters and see what people thought. And then Red Pill and I sat down for a fair while and started thinking about all the different types of permutations. And then obviously we worked with Pete to try and work out what the numbers and supplies were and stuff like that. So yeah, so reselling doesn't make any sense. But I think the only question that remains unanswered is redemption versus surrender. True, I'm not redeeming any first edition tubes. I worked too hard to complete them. Yeah, so again, we'll come back to you very shortly with the answer on exactly how that'll work, whether it's just that you have them in your wallet and you get the reward, full stop. Things are getting exciting. Can't wait to burn a ton of tubes. I can't wait to tell you about the bloody lore and some of the story. And I think this is going to be pretty exciting, because all I will say at this particular point in time is that will give you a very good foundation and basis of what is and why from the law perspective, LORE, and then you guys get to decide the pathway forward, which is something that I think we've all sort of suggested and you guys have asked for in the past. The one that we got asked for the most times was, when are you doing a DAO? This is not a DAO for sure, but it is a very much a participative and community-based approach, and you guys will 100%, I'm sure, form factions and work in groups to determine what happens next. Yeah, so on that, we think it's important to try and get, as Luke was saying, roughly 120 now, but it's important that we get more and more people in as we sort of get this new build out. I think the new build's not only better to look at, but more to do, and obviously there'll be more and more integrated in the very near future. But by combining the tools that we're bringing out now, or the different ventures, products and tools together, I'm also interested to see what type of combinations come up as well. There'll be people that are very creative with the usage of their tools, and we're now starting to talk to more groups, and you know who they are because we've announced some of these upcoming talks, or we've had them. There's more and more developer groups that are very keen to know when they can get their hands on tools and they can start building. It's been a problem in the space. I think one of the biggest challenges, it's fair to say, Luke and Pete, would be that we have VR makes it a little bit trickier, because not a lot of people have blazed a pathway in VR, especially in the fields that we're going into. So a lot of what we're trying to do is very much virgin territory, and will require us to sit there and get headaches trying to work out how to solve some of these problems going forwards. But the positive to that is that gives us the ability to be a front runner. And again, if we've got tools and we've got people working with us and people looking to deploy businesses and communities and products and services on our platform, then ultimately they also have a vested interest in helping to pave the way forward and offer suggestions, solutions and input. So again, the quicker we can sort of get that showcase up, the better we're all going to be.
I'm kind of in two minds about the VR stuff, because I think I've mentioned this before, but there was an Android version floating around that we got a little while ago that hasn't been updated to the current version, but we had a working Android version, and I think that will help a lot with adoption, but it kind of takes some of the shine off of it. The fact that it is VR and it is so immersive, I think, is partly what makes it so great, and it's almost a shame when you see it on the mobile platform, it's not the same experience. So we have to do it, and it's definitely something we're working on. But it'd just be good if everyone bought a VR headset in the world. That'd make everything much easier for us.
Yeah, for sure. Question for Lala and Benny: what do you both think RFOX brand perception is? I'll let you answer first, Lala.
Really? Alrighties. Well, okay. So this is where I stand in all of this, because for those who have been in the community for a very long time, you guys have, of course, been very invested in this, and you kind of understood it from the very beginning. But we are reaching a phase of brand perception on our MVP aspects, right? We've had, as you all know, LOC has seen it, a few other people who have not really gone in depth of what we are doing, really seeing what the MVPs were like. And to be fair, we thought, or at least I thought, that, some people might have like a little bit or a tinge of, oh, this isn't what I expected. But it turned out really great. And brand perception at this point is something that we are definitely heading to build. And because of the MVPs rolling out, and because now everything is interconnected with the Vault, it makes it easier, at least from my side, from a community perspective, to reach out to people and to link them together with what we're doing. So yeah, that's basically what I see for it right now.
Yeah, thanks. I think from my perspective, I would say that majority of people that I speak to would say really impressed with what you guys are building, and you've tackled a lot, and it's ambitious, and they think that what we're doing is good, but it's often followed with the comment of, "But how come nobody knows about you? I'd never heard about you before." And I've been in other groups that talk about some of the products that you're building, and they're saying someone should build the exact thing, and they describe what you've actually already built. And I know that some of you guys that have been in the community for some period of time are the ones that go in on the bottom of those threads or in those groups and say, you've just exactly described what RFOX is doing. So I think that from a perception perspective, the people that take the time to get to learn and understand what we're doing, I think that it's that the perception is very strong, but the vast majority of people don't know who we are, and that's something that we have to really sort of focus on, making sure that we get on the map. And it's a different phase of marketing now for us as well, because previously it's been, for years, going back from the beginning, it's been trying to sell the concept or the idea, right? And that's a very different thing than actually selling something that's usable. And to Lala's point before, some people don't know what an MVP is, and there's probably people in here tonight that don't know what an MVP is, and they assume that the MVP is the culmination of years of work, and that's what your final product is. So there's a perception of, I hope things aren't going to be like the 1980s or 90s in the Metaverse world. And then there's other people that are very much of the opinion that you guys have done well to get something out, and it's great. Can't wait to see it evolve and improve. And then this is what the next MVP does. Gives us a chance to showcase, look at the improvement in that period of time, and then being able to sort of introduce you to avatars, lore, story, what pins all this together and where it's going. And the avatars will give you a very strong indication of, again, a level up in graphics and design, and showcase where we're headed. So it's just going to be a continual bar raising exercise. And I think that definitely speaks volumes, because if you're getting users or brands in or companies in building, then you're going to be in a situation where people do talk about you, and they're talking about you based on the strength of your product, not based on the strength of your white paper or the strength of your meme culture or the strength of someone that shielded you. Will the Metaverse live up to the hype? In which aspects do you think it will, and which ways will it not? I'm assuming you're talking about Metaverse in general. I think it will live up to the hype, in the sense that what it's going to do is it's going to provide something that we looked to crypto to provide, and that is a changing of the guard as far as ownership is concerned. People being able to be creators in a new way, much as the internet brought in new ways for people to communicate and to engage. I think what you'll find is that the Metaverse will do exactly the same thing, and you've got new generations of people coming through So this will be what they know, the way that you're interacting. And again, I think the simplest way to explain this is if you look at Web 2.0, just as an analogy, as a static web page, and you're going in and buying something off an Amazon versus walking into a virtual store, for example, it gives you a much more immersive experience. It makes you feel part of it. But where it will probably fall down and not live up to the hype is, I think, as I've said before, it introduces a whole new set of social problems. There'll be new scams. There'll be new things happening. And ultimately, this will be a situation where we find that we're actually a very, very different situation than we've been in before. And I think that a lot of people will turn around and say, what was wrong with the world that we had? And look at all the social problems that this has introduced. But ultimately, with any new technology and any new movement comes new sets of problems. So, yeah, I think there'll be a lot of naysayers saying, did we really need this, or why did we go down this path? So that's where I think it'll probably be challenging. Are KOGs Choobs still to have an earning potential through Slam and other games, or has this been moved away from in favour of burning for avatars? No. So this is just a one-off thing. So the redemption for avatars has been something that we recognise, and we've talked multiple times about the fact that KOGs have not been performing anywhere near as well as they should have over the last year, and we're spending a lot of time and effort on making sure that we're starting to give more utility use cases for that. And as we've got more product services across the platform, we can now do that. We've got opportunities to do that. So no. Thanks all. Firstly, I'd like to thank my friends and family. Without my best mate, Image Trader, I wouldn't be here today. I have discovered the Fox over a year ago. I'd also like to thank the sponsor, Lala, for spinning the wheel like an absolute weapon. And of course, Royal Pineapple Pete for delivering the goods. I'd also like to thank my noob internet provider. As the wheel started spinning, I was completely frozen. The next thing I knew, my name was Victorious. There you go. It might be a sign, mate. Honourable mentions to Artists and XP for being good sports. There you go. More people are becoming holders instead of investors because of the current economy. Oh, for sure, mate. One thing we talked about before, and a lot of people always say, what do you do in these environments? Because there's the age-old debate of whether you look at your portfolio and you say, well, everything's down and everything's down at huge levels. So are you better off to just sort of rearrange your portfolio and switch things across to other things? Or do you just sort of sit there and dollar cost average? Or do you just sit there and don't do anything and leave the positions as they are? As I often say, the old adage of your portfolio is like a cake of soap, and the more you touch it, the smaller it gets. But ultimately, again, going back to what we said at the beginning of the call, it's important to always look at what you're holding and to say, are they building? Assess whether you think that they've got a chance of being something. Whether you don't really think that's it. Musical chairs and the music just stopped.
Benny cutting out.
Oh, what about now? Is that better?
Okay, yeah, better.
Yeah. So what I
Not
was saying.
financial advice, but just gotta buy more soap. Should I share something, Benny? I mean, you haven't seen it either, so
All right.
still a work in progress, though.
A selfie of a pineapple.
This
I'm
sounds
thinking
trolly.
right now.
This sounds trolly.
Yeah, that's what Z-Train always says.
We're normally right too.
Oh, what the hell? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it could be April Fool's Day today, so yeah, why not?
Except it's not April.
Monte Cristo got it right. Work in progress. That's all I can say.
Is that Wade?
That's Wade upgraded.
No lightning there then.
That was like Wade. Is that because we said it looks like Wade that you love her? Avatar. No.
Wait, wait.
Wade White, there you go. So yeah, yeah, I can't wait. Hopefully, I don't know. I mean, we could effectively spoil the avatars at any stage, but I think what we'll do is we'll give you. I want to see if we can. I'll talk to the marketing guys. I think we're better off to spoil you a little bit of lore along with the first few. And yes, we've worked in peasants and we've worked away how to do it really nicely. So Madame will be very happy because the peasants play a pretty bloody vitally important role in the lore.
Yeah, Madame's not here.
He was before.
She's not here now. And Princess was here earlier, but she's probably gone to sleep.
I'll
Yeah,
represent the
okay.
peasants as the peasant king.
Yeah, but the thing is that
You're nowhere close to be the peasant king, man.
I think it's a cool story that we've been able to work that in. That we've done that as well. So we always do try and make sure. And what I'm really looking forward to is that the community's always sort of been amazing and come back and given us ideas and suggestions. What I'm really, really looking forward to with this is the first time that we effectively go, right, here you go, community. Now it's up to you guys. So we lay the foundations, we get the story started, we get the ball rolling, and then it's very much up to you guys what happens going forward. So that's probably the most exciting part for me, is the fact that, our job is to, again, create the showcase and to show you what's possible and what we have, and then for you guys to build and take over and get going. And now this is a fantastic opportunity for you guys to form alliances and allegiances and your little factions, and then to work out exactly how it develops and transpires. Probably left when worked that couldn't win the KOGGU. Okay, so we've reached the end, guys. Some of you I know will stay around for the DGen hour. Any last questions before we go? Otherwise, I will bid you adieu. Have a fantastic week. We've got lots of spoilers coming up next week, so it'll be a big one next Wednesday. So make sure that you do join us for that, and trade safe and be safe, guys. It's a little brutal out, so just keep your chins up, focus, and we're going to give you the opportunity very soon to be able to start building yourself, and that's what's really going to be an amazing next step for the project and for us. So look forward to sharing you more information. Have a great week, guys, and we'll see you very shortly.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers, Benny.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks,
Bye-bye,
Benny.
Luke.
Bye,
Thanks for the
everyone.
hong.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Pete.